Today is a very exciting day because today I have the opportunity to unbox this awesome deck from Rockpool Publishing. This was a gift from Rockpool for the purposes of doing an honest review. And that is what we're going to do right now. I'm really excited. I don't know what to expect, but just by the name, especially the Madmen part, I am sold. So let's take a quick look. Magicians, Martyrs, and Madmen Tarot. Okay. So I'm expecting that it's going to be famous magicians, martyrs, and madmen. I'm thinking, and mad women. There's a woman right there. It's upside down. Let's look at this one. Here we go. In case you would like to screenshot that part. Ooh, all kinds of interesting folks going to be in here. Okay, all right. I'm sold. My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone you know who might like this deck. If you would like to get a reading done, please email me or hit me up on social media. All of my information is underneath this video, including my Patreon. Alright, so as you can see, the guidebook is pretty hefty. Ooh, it's in full color. It tells you about the person on the card, as well as what the card means if you get that card. Okay. And you know what I love about this the most? I am a history person. Oh, there's spreads in the front. Awesome. I am a history person, and I love learning about different figures from history. So if you're like me, this is going to be a real treat for you. Then we have the cards. Let's take them out. This is the bottom of the box. Nothing in it but the ribbon. And now we're going to get to the piece of resistance, the cards themselves. First of all, let's take a look. Nice kickback. It's not too thick, thank goodness, and it's not too thin. These should be good to shuffle. Ooh, that's Vlad, my boy. I love Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's one of my favorite movies. This is the backings of them. They feel good in their hand, like I said. Okay, let's take a look. So I don't know what we're going to get here. All right. Oh my goodness. Right out the gate, somebody's getting roasted. Ugh. These are some grisly figures. Now, some of them I'm expecting to know, and the other ones I am not. So immediately I'm taken by the fact that there are no borders. I'm feeling that. Y'all know how I feel about borders. I really don't care for them. There is that little line that goes around it, but it's small and it's not you know, overwhelming. This is Marie Laveau from New Orleans. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we're getting multicultural. We're getting different ages. We're getting different genders right out the gate. So I like that. I like the size of these. I like the artwork. Ooh, that's Elizabeth Bathory. She was said to take baths in the blood of virgins. Ugh. Grisly figure. Ugh. Yeah, this is pretty much living up to his name already. Nero, who fiddled while Rome burned. Yeah, if you're into history, you're going to be sitting here tripping off of these. And the artwork is cool. It looks to me like art I've seen before. I don't know if they digitally enhanced it, or I don't know how they actually did the art for this deck, but I've seen these images. We've all seen these images. So it's really interesting. Now we'll get to know the stories behind some of these images. Now this is really cool. I like this a lot. Check this out, right? There is 3 different options for the lovers. This is for lesbians, female, female. Now, mind you, this could be because of your sexual orientation, or you could just pick based on which artwork you like the best. Like this one is for male and female. So if that's your orientation, or if you just like that particular, because those pillars are really cool. I do like that. I think I'm going to use the female, female one. But the last one, this male, male one, this is really hot too. You can't tell me they are not sexy. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they did, but them abs is abbing. Okay? Like, okay, abs. Alright, so here we go. Our chariot. And they're going between time periods. It seems like a lot of these are from the old days, though. Like 1800 and before. Because I haven't seen like anybody so far anyway that's modern. But we're only 10 cards in, so. The Hermit. And I love how the art is not just matching up with the person, it's matching up good with tarot. I know we've all seen this picture. I have no idea who he is, but we've all seen this man before. If you've been to a museum, if you've had a history class, especially in the States. I don't know about other countries, but if you've had a history class in the States, that man was in it. I don't know what he did, but we're going to find out. Okay, so he seems to be going to hang someone. That's his version of justice. Interesting. I mean, these are grisly. I like it. I like it. These are really grisly. I mean, not all of them, of course. Like the one with Marie Laveau, that was really cool. Very subdued, very beautiful. Nice tribute to her. But some of these, like, look at this one. If you know the Jack the Ripper story, you know. Like, some of these are really grisly. So, yeah. I like it, though. I like the art style. I like what they've done with it. Yeah. I know we've all seen this picture, too. Now we get to find out who she is and what happened. Or who this card at least represents. Now, if you're a fan of American Horror Story, you will know these next two. This one here, she was in American Horror Story Coven Season 3. She was one of the villains, played by Kathy Bates. Kathy did a great job. So I could see why they picked her for the devil, because she would torture enslaved Africans, and some say she tortured her own children, mutilated them, put them in cages. The woman was really, really sick. And you'll also remember H.H. Holmes. He was played by one of them, Evan Peters, that famous actor, Evan Peters. Evan Peters played him, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, American Horror Story is fun because they do a lot of historical fiction. So look at this, Mary. If I'm not mistaken, they called her Bloody Mary. If I'm not mistaken, I think I did a video about her, and I think she's Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken, which would be interesting because she's the star in this, and the star represents the Aquarius. Very clever. Well played, creator. If I'm correct, that's her. Well played. This guy always trips me out. His eyes really trip me out. He's perfect for the moon card because his eyes, like, they give me the energy of the moon, the intuition, the sight. It's something about him that's just like, it draws you in, but it doesn't feel safe. It feels like a dangerous draw in. I don't know what it is. I read about him in history, and a lot of people felt that way about him. Oh wow, My goodness, we're gonna learn a lot from this deck, man. I love decks that teach you things. I was just telling someone that right now I am using different decks, and one of them is the Weaver's Oracle, and I love how it's teaching me. This deck has a very similar energy. It's going to teach us a lot about, oh, we all know him, a lot about history, and a lot about, like, if you read the guidebook, because I'm definitely going to read the guidebook. This is one of them kind of decks you have to read the guidebook, because if you do, you're going to learn a lot about history and different figures from history and some of the artwork you've seen. And I think that's really cool. I would like to see more people of color. I think that they have a lot of diversity in this deck, especially with like age, size, things like that. But I don't, and I have seen some people of color, but not enough. I would like to see more of that. I know this is probably famous. 9 times out of 10, this is probably like the most famous people, but I would like to see more famous people of color, especially from places that you don't usually hear from. Like, who are the magicians, madmen, and martyrs from Costa Rica, for example? From Brazil, from Argentina, you know? I would like to see a little bit of that sprinkle. A few African ones. I'm sure they had some too. Very sure of that. I can think of a few off the top of my head. So yeah, I would like to see that. I think that would be really cool. And there's just so many stories here, you know? And that's what I was talking about. Like, I love decks where each card tells an individual story. And that's another thing I like about this deck that they did very well. This deck has a different person for each card. And each card is fully illustrated. It's no pips or no pippishness going on with this deck. And I like that a lot. I really personally, I mean, some decks are pippish that I like, and I go along with it, you know, but I really prefer fully illustrated cards. And whoever did this took the time to find a different person for each of the 78 cards. And that I love. I think that's awesome. And I do, that's Houdini. I do recognize a great deal of these figures, but some of them I do not. So look at that. That's chilling. That is really chilling. So I feel like I'm going to learn a lot. Anybody who, you know, uses this deck, if you use the guidebook with it, I feel like you're going to learn a lot about just different figures from history and what went on. This looks like a great deck for a deep dive. Sometimes in the community, we do a deep dive into a deck. This is a great candidate for that. There's a great candidate for it because you're going to learn about the history, but you're also going to learn. This creator seems clever. I get a very clever vibe from this creator, and very good at tying things together. So I feel like you're going to have the wonderful opportunity as well to see why the creator chose who they chose for each of the archetypes. Like, why did the creator think that Frederick Sante would be good as the Page of Cups? Let's find out. Like, I want to know that. That fascinates me. All right, let's see what we got here for our page. All right, they're not hard to find. They're in regular order. Frederick Sante was a medical doctor who served as a homeopathic doctor and astrologer. Ooh, okay. But to Adolf Hitler in the late 1920s, and formed a coven of witches in the small town of Wallopin in rural Pennsylvania. Get out of here, Pennsylvania. He was a child prodigy who entered Harvard at the age of 13 and graduated from Johns Hopkins Medical School. While in England, he was initiated into Samuel Mather's Alpha et Omega Magical Fraternity. See the Page of Pentacles. So I guess that person must be the Page of Pentacles. After establishing a medical practice in his tiny hometown, Dr. Sante and his office staff were initiated into the New Forest Wicca lineage by Sybil Leek and formed the Coven of the Kata, with Sante as the high priest. They practice ritual magic in harmony with nature and focus their devotion on cats. Well, everything about him does seem Page of Cups-ish, except for working with Adolf Hitler. That's the only problem. I'm like, ugh. Okay, definitely a magician, and some would say a madman. I don't know if he was like his boss, but that could be the case. The Page of Cups is a fair man who brings good news that may be connected with love or friendship, but rarely will it be reliable or permanent. This card may indicate seduction or persuasion, although of an intellectual type rather than of physical pleasures. Sante's coven celebrated ideas of beauty and knowledge, and he was a generous man who often performed treatments at low cost. His friendly nature is seen in the card, sitting shirtless with a cat on his lap and enjoying the simple pleasures of wine. So it seems like he wasn't like his boss. So, okay. okay. All right. We can go along with that. Interesting. I've never heard of him. So it's great. Like I said, this is great. You're learning. You're seeing beautiful artwork. This is really beautiful. And I didn't know what to expect, because when I first saw the cover of this, honestly, it wasn't something that if I had just seen it in like Barnes and Noble, it's not something I probably would have been drawn to. So I'm really happy for the opportunity to get my hands on it, because it's actually pretty awesome. And I can think of a lot of ways I can use this. I was talking to Rochelle over at Amethyst Ascension Tarot, and we were talking about this spread. No, it's not a spread. It's a tarot adventure. It's a story. And you use the cards to create a story. And one of them was talking about, well, who's with you? What person are you taking with you on your journey? And if I could pull out this deck and take one of these martyrs, magicians, or madmen with me, that would make the adventure even that much more fun. So I'm thinking about using this deck for that particular exercise that I'm thinking about doing. This would be fun. So this is great for stuff like that. That's why I said deep dives. Now, can you do a reading with it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, the correspondences line up, so it should be just as easy to do a reading with this as anything else. Yeah, I would definitely say so. It could be great for a daily pull if you just want to do a one-carder. And it's also pretty decent for the altar, like if you're somebody who does altar work with your cards, because the images are so clear, and so, you know, they're large, they're clear. If you're doing some type of a ritual or something, they should be easy. As you can see, they're not extremely glossy, so I would definitely be careful of spilling things on them, but I think you definitely could use them on your altar and really see what you're looking at. I like these a lot. They're different too. I haven't seen anything quite like this, you know, because like we're seeing a lot of light nature, but we're seeing a lot of dark nature with these, and I haven't seen anything quite like that. So that's fascinating as well. And I love how all of the art, remember I said the art seems to be older art, like 1800s or somewhere before then. I really enjoy that look. It's very interesting to look at. Awesome. The mad women and the mad men. I wonder, is Helen Duncan mad too? I love how they have it all tripped up, because it's like you have some dark and you have some light, but the light got some gray. I love it. I really do. This is interesting, and that's why I said this isn't the kind of deck I normally would have gravitated towards. I read about this figure from history. He was some type of a political figure, a king or a ruler or something like that. And that bull you see there is made of metal. And if he wanted to torture and kill somebody, he would put them inside of the bull and light a fire under it and roast them. So like I said, this deck tells some real dark tales. Interesting tales though, but dark tales. And of course, like I said, I don't think all of them are like that, but I'm getting a lot of that dark energy from the images and from the stories that they're portraying. But I'm here for it. I am here for it. I'm here for it. I want to hear these stories. I want to know these things. And the great thing about this is that the entries aren't super long, you know. So after reading the entry, you can Google it and read more if you want to know more. And in some cases, they're going to be YouTube videos about it, because a lot of these people, you know, somebody will have told their story on YouTube. So, whew, look at that. Oh, head clean off. My goodness. So you can get more information afterwards. Ivan the Terrible. I remember that name for the Three of Swords. Whew. Oh, my goodness. If they called you the Terrible, I'm already aware something ain't right. My goodness. Wow, look at that card. Isn't that something? The Fight. And that is perfect for the Five of Swords. Wow. Oh, look at this, y'all. The Titanic made its way in here. Very cool. I would think this is one of the more modern, because that's like the 1900s. So that would probably be one of the more modern events that occurred. Such a sad tale. Every time I watch the movie, and the movie is, you know, historical fiction, but every time I watch the movie and the music and the beauty and the boat is sinking and I could not imagine being in such an awful situation. And the people who survived, talk about PTSD. My goodness. I like this a lot. I like how she's chained. What would be cool is if, for the Eight of Swords, because it's self-sabotage, it would be cool if she had the key in her hand. Let's see if the key is around. No, she's just not trying to get away. I love that. I love the painting look of these. These are going to be a lot of fun. Wow. Very different. And you know, I have an oracle called Deep, Dark, and Dangerous Oracle. I'm going to use that with this. I like that. I like that vibe. Oh my goodness, poor child. I love that they have several people of native. This guy is like a Native American. I think I saw somebody from the Aztec tradition. That's a nice touch. Nice touch. I always say the more diversity, the better. I love that. I'm tired of hearing the same old stories. I do like the famous people that are in here, like this one, Lizzie Borden. That's a cool addition. I like the famous people that are in here, but in general, I want to hear at least 5 or 6 new stories. That's why I like the Tarot of the Divine. Anybody who has that. And a lot of those stories are international, all over the world, and I haven't heard them all. So I'm getting a lot of that from this too. I know some of these people, like Lizzie Borden. I did a reading on Lizzie Borden. I thought it was great. Very informative. But I really enjoy the stories too that I don't know anything about. Like this one. Who is Roger? And what did Roger do? And why is Roger playing with demons? Like, what is going on, Roger? So, yeah. These are great. Okay. I must take off my hat to this creator. This is a very, very interesting deck, and I like it a lot more than I even anticipated. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I think it definitely needs a little bit more diversity, but it does have some, and it has other kinds of diversity. So I think 9 out of 10 would be appropriate because it's really good. I don't have any other problems with it. The size is great. The card stock is great. I love this. A lot of the choices that they've made, like Nostradamus. You can't go wrong with my boy Nostradamus. I did a reading on him too, not too long ago. Interesting that a lot of these people I've done a reading on. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, so this is they're clearly African, so here we're getting some more diversity. So I like that. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I love that. I love to see things like that. Ooh, Saint Sebastian. Ugh. It's crazy how many people throughout history have been tortured. Okay, awesome. Oh, look at this poor child. And I'm really glad that they added so many women. When I first saw it, I thought it was going to be mostly men, but it's a nice amount of women in here. So women, you know, women were not, you know, we were not excluded from this particular deck. There's plenty of women. Look at my girl Joan. I love Joan. Joan is my girl. Very dark story. Joan was murdered too. After she did all that to help the French, they turned around and executed her. So I like, that's why I said even the people in this deck that aren't necessarily quote unquote dark, like Joan wasn't dark, but their stories are very dark. And this is the last one. So this is my boy Vlad. I love it. I really love it. Okay, let's see how easy it is for me to hold them in my hands. So if your hands are about the size of mine, they're very easy to grab and work with. No problems at all. We're going to do a quick shuffle before we go. And, oh my goodness. They shuffle so easy. I barely was moving my hand. They're awesome. They are awesome. Yes, I definitely recommend these. I really do. If you like any of the things that I talked about during this video, or if you are into doing like tarot exercises, they'd be great for that. I really think you should get this deck. So underneath this video, I'm going to put a link at the very top to where you can get an authentic copy of this deck from Rockpool Publishing. There are a lot of fakes out there. Do not be fooled, okay? So I'm going to put an authentic link there, and if you want to pick up this deck, please do. Oh, check it out, guys. The sides of it are gilded. So I know some people have troubles with gilded edges, but I'm not finding them to be sharp. I didn't even notice them when I shuffled. So they're not sharp at all, okay? All right, guys, you come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.